Hey everyone, this is Tara Lynn from Paint, Rinse, Repeat. I'm just going to give everybody a second to hop on here. I'm going to double check and make sure I'm live in all the right places. We will paint this fun jellyfish tonight. All right, just sharing this link a few different places and then we will get started. If you are watching here with me live, say hello in the comments. I'd love to know who I'm painting with. All right, I see the video. I am in the group. Life is good. All right, welcome. So glad you're here. So tonight I am painting this fun jellyfish. Where is it? Right up here in the corner. I call it Deep Sea Dancer. And for this painting, we are going to use lots of paint. I'll be painting on a square canvas, but I am sketching this before I start. So you can change the shape of your canvas and use any canvas or canvas paper or mixed media paper or anything that you want to paint on. To get started, I am using a black canvas. So if you do not already have a black canvas, go ahead and start painting your canvas black. That would be your first step. And then as far as colors go, just round up some really fun colors. So this jellyfish that I painted probably doesn't really exist in nature. So don't worry too much about matching the colors exactly. Hello, I see some people hopping on. This is great. So I am going to switch my camera over here to my desktop view so you can see what is going on there. All right, there we go. I'm going to show you the colors that I rounded up. So I've got white and black. I grabbed an aqua. I've got 2 shades of magenta because I love pink. I've got an orange. I've got a yellow. I've got ultramarine blue and phthalo blue. And then I might use some of this, which is just phthalo blue with a little white mixed in. But you can use whatever colors that you've got rounded up. I've got lots of blues for accent, but really this jellyfish can be any colors that you want. Hi Terry, hi Andrea, hi Jessica. All right. So as far as brushes go, I'm going to grab a fat round brush. So grab your biggest, fattest round brush. That's what we're going to use for most of the painting. And I'm going to sketch with a short or a small round brush just to get the general shape in here. And of course, we're working with acrylic paint, so you'll need water, you'll need paper towels. You want something to put your paint on. And as I go over the supplies, I'm realizing I don't have paper towels. What a silly thing to forget. Okay. So here we go. Paper towels. Now I'm ready. And I've got some water too for myself. All right. So I'm going to get a little bit of white paint to sketch with because it'll show up nice and bright on this black background. We're going to paint this, we're going to sketch in jellyfish together. All right. So the general shape here, and I am going to sketch mine in with a small brush before I fill it in with some white, just because I want you to be able to see the lines that I'm making. So this jellyfish, I'm going to center or off center up here to put him on the upper right side of the canvas. And the easiest place to start is at the bottom of the jellyfish. So I'm going to just create a wavy line here, and that's going to be the bottom of the poopy part of the jellyfish at the top. I don't know what it's called, top of the jellyfish. Once I have this line in, I can kind of decide the rest of the shape. So I'm going to make big half circles starting just underneath here, all the way around. And don't freak out about the shape, because jellyfishes move and wave and do all kinds of crazy stuff in the ocean. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then, of course, we're going to have all these fun tendrils coming down. And so I just make some wavy lines, and I want them to vary in length. And that's pretty much it. So there's our jellyfish. Thanks for joining. Have a good night. Just kidding. But this is the general shape of the jellyfish. Pretty easy to draw. Like I said, if yours is different from mine, that's okay, because they're all different shapes, kind of move and bob around in the ocean. So once you have your general sketch, I'm going to take my big fat brush, and this is what I'm going to use for pretty much my whole painting. And I am just going to put a coat of white paint on the top of the jellyfish. And this is going to ensure that the colors that I put on top, when it's time to paint this guy, are going to be nice and bright. Because I want this jellyfish to be the brightest part of my painting. And we're going to cover this up with lots of colors, so it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just kind of a base layer here. So I have this giant tub of white paint, which is nice because it's kind of bulk, so I pay a little less for it, but it's painful. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to take this big wide brush. I'm just going to thicken these wavy parts down here. It does look like a mushroom. Yes, the top looks like a mushroom. That makes more sense. I always tell myself as I'm talking, and I never know the words for things, I should look that up. You think by now I'd get in the habit of looking things up, like what do you call the top of a jellyfish? But alas, I do not. All right, so I'm going to let this white dry, and we're going to start working on the background. This background, is very textured. It's very fluid, so don't feel like it has to be exactly the same as mine. We're just going to apply some color. And the first color I'm going to start with, I'm going to kind of work top down. I'm going to take a little bit of my magenta. Actually, I'm going to put a lot of magenta on my plate. And ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue is one of the brightest blue pigments that you can get, but it's really transparent. So it's going to let some of that black poke through. But I do want just a hint of purple. So I'm going to mix up some purple. I can't do a painting without purple. Purple's my fave. Just a little, so that it matches my sample pretty closely. But I want to get some purple in here. And so I'm just going to start adding the layers of line. Start up here with just a little bit. Just mimicking that shape of the jellyfish. And then I'm going to move from my purple to my ultramarine. And this is dark. It's almost hard to see on camera, right? But it's letting some of that background, that black, show through. And so I'm just creating these random lines and shapes. So lots of ultramarine up at the top. I'm just creating movement right off the edge of my canvas here. Oops. I'm going to move from ultramarine to phthalo. Now phthalo is more an open color. So we're going to see probably more of that blue. And the phthalo. And so I'm just going to start filling in these shapes with these lines of color. And just think about, as you're painting, what it would feel like in the ocean. Think about the currents and the flow. Those are the kind of feelings you want to emote in your painting. So it's less about being exact and more about feeling the ocean. What does the ocean feel like? And that's what we want to get in this painting here. It's just that general vibe. While I've got these blues out, I'm going to carry some down here. Maybe a few behind these tendrils. All right, now you can add a little white to your phthalo. I'm not even going to waste this. I'm just going to add a little white to my phthalo here and just create a new shade of blue. And then I can come up here and add little bits. And by using this big brush, it's really throwing up a lot of this. And I'm not going to go over the white of my outline here. I'm going to keep that. And so I'm just following some of these lines that I've created, filling in this background with lots of movement. Oh, hi, Jackie. I'm glad you're watching. Welcome. That's okay if you don't paint along with us today. You can always do your own whenever you've got free time. If you do, make sure you share. I'd love to see. I've got a little aqua on my palette here, and I'm just going to mix it with that light blue. Just change the color a little bit. So we're just filling in all this space with different shades. So as I start running out of this blue mixture here, I'm just going to transition right into this aqua and start putting some aqua in here. Don't be afraid to mix up some colors. So I might just add a pinch of yellow to this aqua and see if I can change it up a little bit. I don't want to go too green. I want this to stay in the blue range, but I just want to change up these colors. Can even go back to that ultramarine a little bit. Just play with color mixing, play with these shades. You can even change the pattern, the direction that this is going. All right, I'm gonna wipe off my brush. I don't need to wash it because we're staying in the same color palette here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come through and I'm going to do a completely new layer on top of this. I'm not going to cover it up, but I'm going to add lots of small, short brush strokes. So I can come up here and maybe just add a little bit of purple. Where my first brush strokes were big and there's lots of long. I'm going to come up here with just a few small brush strokes. And I'm using this magenta so you can kind of see the size that I'm talking about. So I can come through with some of this ultramarine, and don't be afraid to use a lot of thick paint on your brush. Just some short brush strokes, and we're just following kind of the shapes that we created in our background. And my paint's not completely dry, so some of this might mix and blend a little bit. I'm okay with that. Might even add just a few little dark blue bits hanging down there. And I'm going to wipe off my brush in between colors, but I don't really need to wash it. Colors. So I'm just moving through my colors, adding lots of these short brush strokes. And here and there, now that I've got some color laid down, I'm going to dip into some white, and I'm just going to add some little touches of white, but I'm going to blend the white slightly. I don't want a lot of just plain white. I want that white to some of these other colors and just lighten them a little bit. That's just another way to add a little variation. And I don't want a lot of white because this is down deep in the ocean. Jackie says this is very relaxing. Yes, painting is like relaxation. I love watching it. It's like when I was younger and I watched Bob Ross a lot. So if you are painting along with me, I encourage you to keep working on that background. It's hard to see on camera, but there's a lot of color up here. It's kind of all kind of black, but here in person, there is some blue up there. But you can have yours as bright or as dark as you want it to be. A little more of these phthalo touches up here just so you can see better on camera. The ultramarine blue really does let a lot of that black show through. I am satisfied with that. I am going to clean my brush for the next part. And I am going to get some light magenta and some orange on my palette. And so it's kind of a pink color. If you've got this darker magenta, you can just add a little white to it. But really, any orange will make a fun jellyfish. And again, I'm using the same really fat brush. And I'm going to start on the right side here. And what I'm going to do is just put some thick paint on my jellyfish to start. So I'm going to start with the cap of the jellyfish here. And I'm going to do pretty much the right side in mostly light magenta here. I just want a really thick coat. And I'm going to follow the shape of the fish, the jellyfish, right where the cap kind of curves around. I'm going to put the brush strokes kind of in the shape, almost like the top of an umbrella. And then every other white, what are these tentacles? On the bottom, I'm going to paint with this magenta. This is just kind of our first coat here. I don't know if there's one over there, but I'm going to put one. All right, then I'm going to switch to orange, and I'm going to put the other side of my jellyfish. Some nice thick paint, just kind of mix here in the middle. And then I'm going to come down here and cover up all these things at the bottom. All the remaining white tendrils with this orange. All right, now is kind of where the fun part happens, and we're really just going to play and mix. The paint that I have is nice and thick. If your paint's a little thick, you might not get as much texture. But I'm going to pull some of this pink over into this part of the jellyfish by up, 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 up. And of course, I'm going to pull some of this orange over here. I'm going to dip into this deeper magenta underneath the jellyfish. It's a little bit of a shadowing, so I'm going to add almost just right underneath that line, little magenta here, the deep magenta. And it's mixing in with some of the orange and the pink, and that's exactly what I want to happen. Just letting that blend a little bit. We just want it to be a little darker. You can even pull some up around that, as I think Jessica said, that top of the mushroom there. This paint is still wet. It's all just blending. That's exactly right. I'm going to do kind of the same thing down here where I've got pink. I'm just going to add a few little smudges of orange in there. Where I've got orange, touching in some little pink marks. This really is a very easy, no rules kind of painting, so don't worry too much about exactly what I'm doing. Just play with it. As long as you get basic jellyfish shape, it's going to look like a jellyfish. This is not super realistic, it's just fun. It's just a fun little jellyfish. And I can come through and kind of have little ripples of this magenta. I'm going to do that on all of these pieces. That's going to give us a little consistency in the coloring there. And this is not going to turn out exactly the same as my sample, because every time that you play with paint and you just experiment, it's going to turn out a little different. So use that, just have a good time with it. All right, I'm making a big mess with my paper towels. I need some new paper towels. The next step is kind of fun. I'm going to use white for my next step. If you don't have white, get some white on your palette. I'm going to clean off my brush. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean, but it's pretty gloppy with other paints. All right, now let's see if I can do this, if I remember how I did it. So I'm going to get some white on my paint. I'm going to hold my paintbrush at the top. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. It's going to make it a little easier for me. I'm just going to kind of drag and make spots left or right each side of these little dangly parts. This is not going to stay white. This is a very stark difference from the paint colors that we're using. That's kind of helping me get that twist. So I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm just going to pull this through a little bit. Some of it is going to blend. Some of it is going to stay white. And that's where the fun of the next part comes in. All right, so I'm going to let some of this dry a little bit. We're going to play with the top. So I've got a lot of yellow in my samples. I'm going to go ahead and get some yellow. I'm going to mix a pinch of white in with this yellow, because yellow is a fairly transparent color. And while I don't mind if some of this pink and orange comes through, I do yellow. And so I'm going to pull some yellow up here. And after a while, you're going to pick up some of that background color. You can just wipe off your brush and add some more in there. I'm going to grab some white and just give a few little highlights. Again, the white's going to blend a little bit, and that's fine. At this point, I've got a lot of thick paint, so I'm just kind of smudging it in there. And there's a little bit of yellow down here, some wavy texture on that side, and on this side, use but with white. All right, now I'm going to get some more yellow. I don't need to mix this with the white. If you've got the yellow and the white all mixed together, you can use that. Now I'm going to add some yellow down here. Where I'm going to add the yellow is where a lot of this white is showing. So where it's blended, I'm going to let those blended colors stay. Where I see a lot of white, that's where I'm going to place this yellow. A lot of this is going pink on me, so I'm going to add just a few touches of orange in there. This is kind of where you start to make your own calls in your painting. So we're painting, you take a step back from it. What is your painting missing? Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Tracy. Sorry if I'm a little late with the comment. I get caught up in painting here. All right, so from here on out, like I mentioned, it's basically finishing touches. And so as I'm looking at mine on screen, I can tell there are a few places where the blue is just not like it did in the original. So I'm going to come back through, maybe add more of these light blue strokes in here. Just, maybe lighten some things up that way. But it's really your call what you decide to do as you're finishing touches. So don't be scared to get in here and play. There are lots of colors, and I want to encourage you just to be experimenting, adding, playing. If you don't like it, you can always go back over it. You can add it more. So be afraid to just get in there and do. Life is too short not to try things. All right, I feel like I'm at a place where I am happy with my jellyfish here. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you've really been enjoying the Under the Sea theme that we've been doing. I want to thank Tracy so much for organizing everything this month. It's been a really awesome group this month. I cannot wait to see what you guys are painting. So please make sure you share with me. If you're not familiar with me, I will just let you know who I am one more time. I'm Tara Lynn, and I am with Paint You can always find me at my website, paintrinserepeat.com, or on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/paintrinserepeat online. You can also use hashtag paintrinserepeat and find me on the socials. You can post your work with the hashtag and I'll find it. But thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I cannot wait to see the beautiful jellyfish that you create. I've really enjoyed seeing all the paintings. And I will see you next time. Have a great night, everyone.